So who hasn't felt that dilemma, right? When you're in Linux, you want to go all in, you want to go all the way and just do it. But you just found out that, or you just remembered you have a tons of Windows apps and software that you paid for, the paid versions. So there's that dilemma, right? So you're just like wondering, well, am I going to go all the way in? Am I going to dual boot? What am I going to do with all this? Because you actually have money invested in this software. It's not free. So what if I told you I found a solution to that? And I'd love to share that with you. That's what's going to enable us to use Windows and Linux simultaneously. There's tons of videos that claim to do the same. Just only recently this has become available, well, for free. I would say to the public because it's super expensive. I'm just going to send this over to Broadcom. And let's see here. All right, here's my email. Another little company, it's an outsourcing company. This is my email here. Let's see if I remember my... And I don't. I did, okay. All right, so we're going to be getting the... this is not straightforward at all. This is a little wider. This is part of the reason I'm making a video from the very beginning. So, actually going to be downloading from one of these knowledge bases. Because they don't have like a straightforward link anywhere. I don't know why. Downloading Vmware-Workstation Pro. This is like a forum here. But in here already I've, after some searching, there you go. Download Vmware-Workstation Pro. Because this one down here is the second. Click on that. And for Linux, yes, we want that. And we want this one. Not sure what the difference is, but that one has more numbers and letters. Here's the tricky part. Kind of looks like you just downloaded it, right? And no. So you have to expand this. This is not straightforward at all. Okay, there. Okay, so that should be going to our downloads folder. We hope. Let's see here. I have my USB here with my cheat sheet in it. Put that in there. There we go. I'll get that out of the way. Okay, well basically what it says there has some instructions. We're going to be going here to our downloads. There we go. Okay, we have this from what we just downloaded. We're going to go here and we're going to execute as program. So permissions, allow executing the file as a program. Yes, we want that. Okay, so go over here to my cheat sheet. Gonna pop up here. I'll put that in the description anyway, so you'll be able to see that. So basically we have to go back to our terminal. And we're going to be getting some of this code here. One we already did, but I'll go ahead and do this. This is a sudo update. Copy, paste that there. Sudo update. Yes, we want to do that. Already know everything's updated, so that shouldn't be a problem. And okay, so make sure this is executable, which you already know it is. I'll go ahead and do that anyway, because I'll be demonstrating one point here. Okay, see the name here? That's not going to work. So what we have to do, go to the downloads folder, if we can get that, okay. Then get properties on this so we can get the name. Okay, so all that name here we're going to copy and paste. Okay, so everything that says VMware we're going to erase with our mouse, put that right over the cursor there, and paste. I think I'm missing something. Okay, I was supposed to direct this to our downloads folder. Okay, sorry about that. Because it doesn't want to look there by itself, so okay. Now we're in downloads. And now we can do what we were trying to do before. Paste that. Copy that. Okay, remember to use your mouse. The Control V doesn't work here in terminal. Use your mouse. Okay, I got the same kind of message here. Can I access? But okay, let's see if it launches at least. There's always some kind of surprise here. Alright, so again, copy and paste. And enter. No, okay. Nothing's working today, is it? Okay, so that took some tinkering there. Just basically just going back over what I put in there the first time. So something there worked, maybe. Didn't copy a period or something, maybe. But okay. So we got the installer. And we're having some success. Okay. Very good. So now, thank you, Broadcom, for that. So we're gonna download. Oh, actually, I have my image file already for Windows. We're gonna be using that now. So let's go ahead and put that here on our desktop because we're going to be using that a whole lot for our project. So Vmware-Workstation desktop. There we go. So double click that. And I definitely do accept this. I just love the feeling where you're just accepting terms in Linux. It doesn't feel as bad as when you do in Windows. It feels like you're selling your soul. And you can check for updates. That's no problem because you're not cracking anything. It's totally legit. Okay. Create a new virtual machine. Here we go. Okay, so typical installation, yes. Use a physical drive, no. ISO image, yes. Alright, let's go ahead and put her in our USB with our image. Okay. I think that went right in, yes. Okay, programs, Windows programs, my old Windows programs. Let's go into Windows, my Windows 7 I like so much. It's a shame you can't use that anymore. So, okay, so English, yes, we want English. And next. Alright, so family PC, do we want a password? Probably not. And education version, I think that's just a dumbed down version of what Windows really is. So Windows 10, yes, Pro, and yes. And that's the location, yeah. So only have one hard drive. If you have another hard drive, you can change that there. And we want a decent amount of space, because I know my kids are going to be using this a whole lot more than Linux. The single file, I know that's a lot easier. We're not going to be moving anything, so if you're going to be moving your operating system, you can choose this. But I never have, so probably not a good idea anyway. Okay, so customize hardware. Yes, we want to do that because the memory only assigns 2 gigabytes. So you want a good chunk here, about 16 gigabytes, as close as we can to get that. This is kind of sensitive anyway. 16,000. I think, yeah, 16,000. Yeah, exactly 16. You don't want to use too much memory. So number of processors, I think that's good. I don't have too many. And cores, 1, okay. Sound display and everything else is probably good. Okay, let's go back over this again. So we have our 16 gigabytes of memory. I have a 150 gigabytes of hard drive space. And I think that's good. It's gonna assign that space. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Probably some like cache or something. I've never done that, I don't think. So just ignore that. Alright, yeah, that looks good. Alright, so that's gonna hang here for a long while. Probably gonna be here. Last time it took about 45 minutes. So yeah, we can just fast forward from there, because I'm pretty sure everybody already knows how this installation goes. But it's definitely worth the wait, so we'll be back here in a second. Okay, and Windows is installed. I went ahead and took the liberty of installing some programs, since it is very time consuming. But here we go. So let's see here. So we take this one off. I'll be using that. I'll be using that. Definitely won't be using that. And won't be using that. Okay, so I went through the activation process. So this is now activated. I can change that entirely background to this. That'll be a lot better. And I think the power settings, I think I did that already. Okay, so what we're going to be demonstrating here is the power of this software here. The ability to be able to use Linux and Windows at the same exact time and with good quality. The first test is Photoshop, because that requires a lot of graphic memory, the GPU. So I want to download an image first to test that out. So let's download an image. And how about one of these? Any one of these. Let's see. Web page. No, we don't want a web page. How about we get one of these programs over here? That's Linux. Okay, that's confusing, isn't it? Okay, we want to get Windows. I mix it up sometimes. If I'm actually in Windows or Linux or, yeah. That's where the multiple monitors come in handy. Okay, so we're looking for the cropping tool. Definitely. Okay, yeah, I missed that one. Okay, so pin the taskbar. Yes, that's what we're going to be using quite a bit. Alright, so now we can save this as an image. Let's save that to pictures. All right, this is a good test here. So let's open it up in pictures. And let's just see here, open with. Oh, here, yeah. Perhaps. It's funny how it doesn't show up there. There you go. Always use that one, yes. Okay, so this is the real test here, Photoshop. As you can see, we have a pretty good quality. It is because we're running off of 8 gigabytes of GPU. Let's try filter. Other artistic ones. Awesome, huh? Image size. Where's that free transform one? Let's see here. Remember what that is? Free transform, here we go. I want to make the canvas bigger too, right? Okay, well, you get the idea, right? Canvas size. Centimeters, yeah, that's okay. 15, relatively, okay. All right, we made a mess of that, but you get the picture, right? So Photoshop is working really, really, really well. So you could actually do some work in Photoshop here. All right, the next one is one of the most used ones, Word. Okay. That's, yeah, okay. Auto updates. That should be nice, right? Okay, so we see you have Word working just as it should, right? Okay. And Publisher, Excel, and all that good stuff. And well, the star of them all, here we go. Scrivener, one of my favorites. Okay, well, check this out. This is what every writer wants, right? Something to read back what you wrote, so that way you can proofread it, right? You have to proofread everything to make sure it's okay, or you pay somebody to do it. So this is the easiest way here, through Scrivener. So start speaking.
Welcome to the tutorial. Welcome to Scrivener. This tutorial is a Scrivener project, just like the ones you'll create for your own writing. It will introduce you to all the main features of the software by getting you to use them. Once you've finished the tutorial, go to File, New Project to begin your own project. Feel free to experiment and edit this tutorial as you go. If at any time you decide you want to restore the tutorial.
Awesome, huh? Okay, so remember, we're actually in Linux. So you're actually hearing that through Linux, through Windows. No, it's kind of twisted way of thinking about it. But yeah, actually works perfectly well as if we're actually in Windows. I mean, you can make this big. So you actually like, okay, this is actually believable, right? Oh, we are in Windows. Or you can minimize it so you can work in both environments, which I like to do. So, okay, we'll get this here. This is another really handy feature here. Let's copy this text here. Copy. So let's say we don't like to use Windows Word, right? And we like to use LibreOffice. So let's drag that over here. Oh, wow. Okay, so we can copy and paste from both platforms, right? So we're actually at Linux now. This is a Linux software here, LibreOffice Writer. So we're not in Windows, we're in Linux now. So you can add to this if you prefer this and save it to Linux and whatever you need to do here, from Scrivener in Windows to Linux. And that is awesome. And that is actually what I'm doing for my project. And I spent months and months trying to do this until I discovered that VMware was actually available to the public. I mean, it was super expensive before. It was kind of available to the public, but it is more available now. So that is very fortunate. I mean, just the simple fact that we can use the 8 gigabytes of GPU, that is a game changer. And yeah, if you're wondering about the file transfers, I mean, you can drag and drop from Linux to here. And you can also create a network folder, which I did as well. A shared folder. Okay, so that goes directly from Linux to Windows. So you can put stuff in that folder and you have them available on both platforms, both Linux and Windows. So, and yeah, well, let's check out how much memory you're using, because you can kind of take my word for it. But if you remember from the beginning, we did that, set that up. The physical memory and the memory you're going to be using for the GPU. So it's down, we'll see that. Okay, here we go. For the hard disk, we have 150 gigabytes, which we assigned there. And I think that is adjustable. It's probably safer to increase it than to decrease it. And we have almost 16 gigabytes assigned to this. And GPU, where's our GPU at? Display card. I know that was here somewhere. But we do have 8 gigabytes assigned to that. Okay. Oh no, every time we look for that, it's just like, oh, here we go. Graphics memory here. 8 gigabytes recommended, okay. And we have the full 8 gigabytes assigned to this virtual machine here. I'm not sure if we have two virtual machines. I'm pretty sure we can't have them running at the same moment, because my video card is only 8 gigabytes. So we'd probably have to have one at 4 and the other on 4 as well. Okay, but we're using 8 gigabytes here, which is fine for me, because I only need one virtual machine. That is awesome. Okay, and one more thing before we finish this video. I want to give some shouts out to Obsidian. This is one of my favorite software. It's kind of like your Wikipedia note-taking application. Let's name this test vault. I haven't set up any vaults here yet. Let's put that here on the desktop. Obsidian vaults. And we'll select that. This is going to be our test vault. Yes, that's correct there. That's where it's going. Let's create that. So, okay. This is what it looks like in the beginning. It's not too attractive, I know. But it is adjustable. So we go down here. Appearances. First thing you probably want to do is pick a nice little appearance thing here. Here's our theme. Okay, so we have that installed. I always like to put that on dark because it looks a lot cooler. Alright, so now it's starting to look a little better. Let's see here, core plugins, community plugins. I want to turn those on. Automatic check for updates. Browse. First thing always install here. Chmod. Okay, so any of you who have written a story or in the process, no, you need some way to keep track of things, right? What you started to do, what you're trying to do, what you're already doing, or what is completed. So this does this here. Okay, so that's enabled. All right, cool. So let's test this out now. Okay, so test space 001. New folder Kanban. Kanban test space. So all this can be changed or rearranged or rewritten Now this is a permanent, which is really cool. So if you don't like the way your format's going, you can always change that. All right, our first Kanban board. Test list 001 and test list 02. And you may be wondering why I'm showing you this. It's a writing project. I mean, there's software out there, and they're not really exactly free. Obsidian is actually free, so I highly recommend supporting their project. Maybe getting the paid version or getting a license for Obsidian, because they are actually very awesome. Let's see if I can spell that right. Test base 001. You know, we can actually name these a little better. I mean, that is kind of vague. Test list 001. Let's see. How about we rename this to about something more realistic, like task received. Okay. So if you have any projects, you're probably seeing the value of this right away. So task received, task and process. And you're probably saying, wow, we'll have this in a Trello or some other app. Yeah, but what happens when you don't have internet? Which happens, right? I mean, there's a hurricane or something, and you're like, well, you maybe have some electricity, but you can't use your Kanban board anymore because it's online. Task and process. Task complete. There should be another two, but this is just for testing. Okay, so you can actually go in here and move list to task and process. This used to be drag and drop, which is kind of confusing. It still has that little drag feature. So yeah, if you're seeing that, yeah, it's now down here. I'm sure there's a good reason for that. I mean, it's not too bad anyway. Okay, so you can move that along there. So okay, yeah, that's actually finished, so put that finished. Okay, so let's put that back, received. Here's the cool thing about it. So you want to edit the card? Okay, well, new note from card. Okay, we're gonna make a note from this. This is a test base. Yes, it is. Okay, let's close that out. And we see have a little note here. Okay, so what I like to do here is I create another folder here. Kanban cards, maybe we'll name that. It's because if you make a lot of them, there's going to be a long list here. So it's nice to just keep them in a folder. And they're still accessible here. Let's see here. That's actually supposed to be in there. Yeah. That was actually the opposite. Okay. So Kanban cards. That goes in there. Okay. All right. Now we're maybe if we name that, that'll be a lot easier. So rename Kanban test base maybe. Kanban 001. Make it that easier. Okay, now we won't be confusing that anymore. So you see now it's blue. So you can actually click on that and it'll take you directly to the card. You just click out, and you can do this for many of these. I mean, we could actually even put an image in here. So how about we do that? So we have our images over here. I think that was actually in Windows, wasn't it? Okay. So how about we look over here in Firefox? Yeah, I always get confused which I was working in. Okay, how about something cool? Not seeing anything too cool. Maybe this here. see if we can download this in JPEG. And probably not. Okay. So image clipper. Oh, this is one of the cool things about Mint here. So we actually have the same tool we have in Windows, but it's a little cooler, actually. This is actually should be a part of the system. Shutter, there we go. This is like the coolest feature here. Let's see here if I can remember that password. Installing. That should actually be part of. Well, I guess it's a X11. I think X11 is going to be gone pretty soon. But that's a shame because this is a really, really cool app. So Shutter, let's look for Shutter. It should be in graphics. Of course it wouldn't be, right? Video, Shutter. Nope. There we go. Set this to the panel. Alrighty, so now we can do what we wanted to do and crop this image here. Alrighty, so now we can copy that. Save as. Put that into pictures, yes. Selection, yeah, why not? PNG format, awesome. No, we don't want to replace that. So let's name this to 002. All right, that's taking a little longer than expected. Alrighty, so as I told you, you're definitely going to want it if you're going to be on Linux Mint. This is one of the best ones, actually. One of their prize softwares. Doesn't work on other systems for some reason. Okay, so we're going to be demonstrating how to put this in Obsidian. I mean, this is super cool. Okay, how was that? Like Notion, yeah, those things don't work there. So you remember you put a slash and you can get like a database and stuff. I mean, this is cool enough, isn't it? You can put links in there. www.com. So you can put links in there. That's actually clickable. I mean, this is not a paid software, so you know. Okay, so for book writing, I mean, I think we pretty much covered it. We got Obsidian for keeping track of your chapters, if you want to use it that way. And that's what I do. My chapters are in Obsidian. Chapter. I mean, you could put this in Windows too, but just the fact that you're not allocating that much space in Linux and Windows, you have more space in Linux. So, see, chapter 1. Note. You can go over here to your virtual machine, which we have turned off for some reason. I think for the start's pretty quick. Family PC. You're probably wondering about that. It's actually because it's my son's hard drive, which I borrowed from him for this video, which you'll find out pretty soon. Okay, yeah, that happens sometimes. So you actually have to reconnect everything. So settings, I actually learned this the hard way. So shared folders, map. Yeah, just go in and kind of refreshing, I guess. Yeah, and it should be back. Let's test that. Shared. Shared. Yep, it's back. Awesome, huh? Okay, so let's test out what we're going to be testing out. Okay, so we know this goes into Linux. We can put that into LibreWriter. But how about Obsidian? Oh yes. So you can definitely keep your backup if you want to back up to Obsidian. Just have a backup, or you can back up to LibreOffice, whichever you like. I prefer this way because you actually. Oh, there's another cool thing here. It's called Canvas. I think that's already pre-installed. I don't think it is. So if you're into like mind maps, like I am. Oh, here we are. Canvas is already installed. Let's see here. So graph canvas. Okay, so it has a gnarly look thing there. All right, so this is our canvas. Check this out. I'm so grateful to Obsidian for this. Because, you know, mind maps and all that online, and they're charging me left and right for stuff. I mean, I know there's not a lot of colors and stuff, but we gotta definitely appreciate this. Chapter 1. Characters. Terrain. I mean, if you can't get organized with this, this would be like, that would be insane. Okay, and as you guessed, you can actually link stuff in here. That's a little different. You actually have to create like little brackets and stuff, but you can definitely do that. I have that there, so if you want to go to chapters, actually, yeah, let's do that. Chapter control. Is there already one? Okay. So as new note, characters. So I believe it's 2 brackets. Yeah. Characters. Okay, so now we have a link in here. So if we copy this here, and we go back to our map here. Let's go down here and paste that there. Characters. All right. And now we're getting somewhere, aren't we? Okay. Characters. Okay. We have Chris and Jane and a bunch of others. Okay. And we could actually paste that there too, then go back. But, well, we just go back to clicking there. Okay, so we have characters. You want to see which characters? Characters. Okay. You just go back and see, that's pretty awesome. I mean, there's other plugins. Sorry, you can go up here and you can change the font. Actually, you could do that here. There's more extensive ones. I mean, if you want to change that like red and this one to blue, maybe all the attachments be making those blue. The lines, I think you could change those too. Oh yeah, you can. So, I mean, if you don't like this, that's like, that'd be super weird. If this doesn't help people get their stuff organized, I don't know what will. Okay, so let's name this chapter map. Awesome, huh? Okay. Well, this is Obsidian. Hope you like it. So this this is definitely the best way I've found after many, many months of looking how to work in simultaneously in Windows and in Linux, because I am invested in software like this one here. I actually bought the license. So, I mean, if you want to use their license, you got to use Windows, right? Because these people aren't making a thing for Linux, unfortunately. So yeah, well, if you're invested, it makes sense to be able to want to use the software you have already. So this is the best way. I've tried many, many, many ways to get this to work in like in Wine and other things, but no, just couldn't. So, and the fact that you can use your video, I mean, you could actually probably edit a video in this thing as well. Haven't tried that yet, but I probably will. Probably make another video about that. But yeah, we'll leave your comments in the comments. Let me know if you've tried that out already or how that went. And definitely if this helped anybody, let me know as well. I would love to hear that. All right. Hey, so this is Albert, author of Realms of Forgotten Worlds. I just wanted to add here at the very end, if you got this far, well, thank you very, very much for watching this and hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to make many more videos. I just want to remind you I'm a one guy operation, just me, myself and I. So I hope you don't have to really donate, but if you want to help me buy a copy of the book, it's really cheap, really inexpensive. So please support my project by doing that. And of course, like and subscribe. That helps me as well. A whole lot, actually. So yeah, I appreciate all the help so far. And thank you, everybody, for following me since publishing Realms of Forgotten Worlds. And hope to talk to everybody soon. And have a great day.